Yeah, good evening everyone. I think we can start the session now. Today we are going to discuss about the robot programming and the basics of the Python programming which are useful for the Opencv session on day 12. And my friend Nivedita will take over the session now for the robotic programming topic. Yeah, over to you Nivedita.
So hi everyone, I'm Nivedita from third year BTech CSBS. Nice to meet you all. So today I'm going to talk about programming in robotics. So basically in this session I'm going to tell you about some history of robot programming, how robotic programming languages are categorized in some different generations, and modern programming languages. I'm not going in depth like actually doing coding or something. This will just give you a glimpse of programming in robotics. I hope this session will be interesting for you. So, can I start? Manindra? So, okay, let me. So, this is the overall outline of the session. I'm going to start from some important primary areas of the robotics to history of programming in robotics, and then to the different generation in robot programming, and then to the modern programming languages. So, first of all, how many of you people are from SOC, School of Computing? Can you say yes or just raise your hands or something? Yeah, I can see responses. Deepak. And who else? Vardhini. Can I see some more responses? Okay, fine. So, how many of you guys are interested in programming or good at programming? Guys. So, can any one of you tell me what a programming is about, or like some small definition? What you think a programming is about? So, can any one of you give me a definition or some explanation, like what a programming is about? Or you can just type in your chat boxes. Fine then. Programming is used to instruct the computer. Like we are using these statements to tell the computer to do something that we want. It is applied to robotics as well. Let me take an example. For example, the printf statement, printf hello world. We are telling the computer to print the string hello world in the output device, the monitor. This is example of a simple statement. So when you go deep into programming, a program is simply a set of instructions. So this is what programming is about. So coming back to the robot programming, a robot can be generally divided into three parts. We can say this three parts together form a robot. So major part of a robot is an actuator, a sensor, or a computational unit. So first, the computational unit is called the brain of the robot, which helps in decision making or some general computing. So in general, we call a microcontroller or PC as the or PC as the computational part of the robot. robot. So can any one of you tell me what a sensor is? Like what it does? Okay. So the sensor is used. Is there anyone to answer the question? Are you ready to answer?
In chat box, we have some answers. Check them out. They are saying
Oh,
detect
sorry.
control parts of system. Go through the chat box once.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. Correct answers. It can detect exactly. What a sensor does, it just detects. 1 minute. So yeah, exactly. All of your answers are correct. So a sensor is something which senses any changes in the external environment in which it is working. Okay. So the next part, the actuator. So can any one of you tell me what actuator is? Uh, you should have got some idea like what it is from the previous sessions that you attended. Yeah, correct, Sheldon. So okay, an actuator is that it converts electrical to mechanical. Yeah, exactly. So it takes signal and the energy to work and converts it into the mechanical motion. So for example, actuators can be a DC motor or a stepper motor, or even a LED can be an actuator because it shows some response to a signal. So in terms, it is mostly considered as a mover in the case of DC motor, but an DC motor produces a mechanical motion from the electrical energy that it gets. So it can either be a linear or a rotary. Okay, so robot programming is programming the microcontroller inside a robot to perform a particular application that you want it to do using the actuator and the sensors. Okay, so next, talking about the 5 primary areas of the robotics. Generally, if you see anywhere, the definition of robotics is generally like it is an interdisciplinary branches of mechanical, electrical, computer science, which includes all the departments in the engineering. So basically, robotics is divided into 5 primary areas under which it works. Like together, they form a complete robot. So the first one is the operator interface. Operator interface is a human robot interface. From the name itself, we can understand this operator interface acts as a medium for the robot and the user to communicate. So this is a medium where the user or the operator who puts the programmed codes or something he wants that the robot to perform. Okay, so for example, a gaming control can be an example of operator interface. You move the joystick to the left side, so the car will move this side. So it is also the example of the operator interface. So the next is mobility or locomotion. So yeah, so the mobility or locomotion is all about how a robot can move around its environment and in which it operates. The in robotic terms, we call it a mobility or locomotion. Generally, it can be in many ways, like flying robots. The robots which mimic human movements, and even the rovers which are used in Mars and other celestial bodies. In short, the environment a robot will be used determine how the engineers will design the mobility system. So based on the place where it works, a robot is designed with that qualities of locomotions. Okay, next, manipulators and effectors. So these two gives the robot the ability to interact with its environment. There are different parts of the robot that allows it to pick some objects or move them or do some other physical works with the object. In industrial setting, the manipulators and effectors are more commonly represented by the pincers, claws, or the pushers, which are suited to move some heavy materials, which we do in the industries. Okay, so the next is the programming. So programming is used as it is the language an operator uses to communicate with the robot. If you want to tell the robot to do something, you usually tell it by the programming. So it is kind of a language which you use to communicate with the robot. But in olden days, most of the robots were originally pre-programmed and they only perform a particular task. But if you want to make that robot do some other works or anything, you have to change the entire design of the robot. Okay, but modern programming languages allows a robot system to learn and adapt changes in its environment. You can see so many robot working on its own, and you can also see that the automotive cars which work on their own using some lidar or radar sensor. Yeah, these are some example of the robot that learn and adapt to the changes in the environment. So the last primary area is sensing and perception. So from the name you can see it is used to sense and interpret what it is in the environment. So it focuses on how a machine identifies things in its environment and react to those factors which got changed immediately or something. Using this field, a robot can access information such as where it is in the space and where to go, how to avoid obstacles. All this comes under sensing and perception. For example, when a robot encounters an obstacle, what direction should it take? So all this comes under sensing and perception. Yeah. So reduce motion. Okay, so can you guys tell me the programming languages you know, or even the names that you heard of?
C, Java, C++.
Yeah. Yeah, C++, Python, Java, JavaScript, HTML, script, Python. Yeah. Kotlin. Yeah, C hash. React. Ruby, R. Nice. So as you can see, there are HTML is not a programming language. Node.js. Okay, so as you can see, there are so many programming languages. So many programming languages in this world. Likewise, we have so many robot programming languages also. I can name Matlab, Lisp, Pascal, Basic, Prolog, C, Ash, like someone mentioned, and all these are some well-known robot programming languages. So how all these programming languages came into existence? Why there are so many programming languages? To know more about this languages, let me tell you about the history of programming robots first. Okay, so I'm going to tell you about some well-known inventions during this period. Okay, starting from the 17th and 18th century automata. Is there any doubt? Okay. The 17th and 18th century automata. During the 16th century, there was a scientist called Christian Huygens who created a automata for the king of France. This he made something called a mechanical army to show it to the king. And then there was this. All these are some kind of well-known automatas in the history. So I'm just telling you how the evolution of the automatas or robots. Okay. After this, there was this scientist called Jacques de Parkinson who created the digesting duck. So what the duck does is it is made up of some copper material. The duck can eat and fully digest and excrete its food, as well as it can flap its wings and quack. So each of it wings, you can see the duck here. Wings featured over 400 moving parts. So the scientist who created the duck actually placed the chemical laboratory to make the digestion, to make the decomposition process the complete. So the scientist who created the duck, he also created another mechanical flute player, which can play up to 12 different tunes. You can see that here. There was these pedals which are used to pump air into the mouth of that model. It is kind of like a human-sized model, and from the mouth, the air will be blown into the flute, and the machine itself controls the air in the flute by placing its hand in each hole and plays 12 different tunes, which is considered one of the most complex and fascinating invention in this era. And then moving to the 19th century, a Swiss mechanician by the name of Henry Maylard, he built a Draughtsman writer. What here it is. So what it does is the Draughtsman writer can draw 4 different pictures and also write 3 different poems. Okay, it had a very large memory compared to the devices at that time, and the whole mechanism of the Draughtsman writer is placed under this table thing. You can see it here. Okay, so then one of the very well-known and most famous creation of this time is this part, the musician, draughtsman, and the writer. All these 3 are some separate parts. So it is created by Jacques Draws. So the musician, it plays the organ, which is generally a keyboard, a piano, pressing the keys in the instruments, and her head also moves according to the tune. So the next one is a draughtsman. Here it is. The draughtsman is here, which can dip its pen in the ink and can write up to 40 different letters. And the next one is draughtsman. Oh, it is the writer, sorry. And the draughtsman can draw 4 different pictures, including a portrait of the King Louis XV. Okay, so these 3 pieces are still kept in the Museum of the Switzerland. So next, golden age of automata is the 19th century is actually considered as the golden age of automata. During that World War thing, there were so many after the World War thing, there were so many different automatas or inventions came into existence. So one of the remarkable one during this time is this Euphonia. You can see it here, which was created by Joseph Faber, which took almost 25 years for him to complete it. So what this machine does is It can sing, laugh, and ask and answer questions. It can actually speak 3 different languages, the German, English, French. So it can speak all these languages. And so this piece is comprises of 3 different parts, like a piano, a bellow, and a mechanical replica of the human throat and the vocal organs. You can see it here. The face look exactly like a human. So by pressing the keys on the keyboard, a human operator produced sounds that inflated the bellow and caused the mechanical mouth to move and the mechanical tongue to lift and the mechanical jaws to move. So this exactly mimics the movement of a human, and this is considered as one of the masterpiece because it later led to development or creation of so many automata similar to this, the ultimate robots. So next, talking about the automatas, anyone of you have any doubts? Yeah, digesting that did not actually decompose food, did it? Yeah, it does. Yeah, exactly. Like Krishna said, the chemicals cause that food to digest. That's why he placed the whole thing inside it. So yeah, talking about the automatas, you can see the way I told you about so many previous inventions. Like in olden days, the automatas are actually pre-programmed and it can only do some only one actions. But to yeah, like I said previously, to reprogram that you have to redesign the whole thing. So talking about the real programming languages, the first programming language was developed by Konrad Zuse. He developed the Planckkel, the first high-level programming language, which he used for to design his own working first a computer, the Z3. Okay, and then later so many other languages came into existence, but still the Planckkel remains as the very first. And after this, the Fortran came into existence, which is considered as the one of the oldest programming language to exist because it is still there today, even today. So talking about the robot programming, so we are interested in robot programming, not the computer programming. So robot programming, to take a look at where the robot programming actually began, we have to go even forward in a history. Okay. So 3 generations of robot programming. Okay, the first real robot programming arrived along with the first industrial robot, the Unimate. It was invented by the George Devol in 1954, and the robot used a very low level of programming, which involved teaching the robot. So the very first industrial robot is the Unimate, and it is based on some teaching the robot thing. So what exactly is that is the Unimate. What happens is that the user commands the robot to a position, then stores the position of all the joints. When the program was played back, the joint would move between positions, comparing them to its current position. Like it will compare where it is in time space at this present moment, and will move accordingly to the desired output. So as you can see, there was no programming language as such, but it is just a process which you can still find in the robot programming languages we see today. So the first robot language was MHI and was developed in 1960 for the control of the robotic hand at MIT. So during the mid 70s, there was explosion of programming languages. There were so many programming languages which came into existence, and instead of just telling the names of the programs, I'm going to tell you how these languages are divided into 3 particular categories based on their working mechanism. The first gen is called as the programming by teaching, and the second gen robot-oriented programming, and the third gen word modeling and task level programming. So the first gen languages. The VAL programming language was developed in 1973 at Stanford University for use with the Big Arm Small Research Robot. This was the era of the first generation languages. Yeah. So VAL stands for Variable Assembly Languages. So the Big Arm, which is developed by the Stanford University, uses the VAL programming. Okay. So later, when the Big Arm robot was brought into the industries, this VAL programming also became existing in the industrial robots. So these robots are suited to highly repeatable tasks. Most of them were based on existing programming languages that had been developed in the 1950s. Yeah, COBOL, Algol, Fortran, and RAL, Sigla, Funky, and SCRF. All these comes under the first gen languages. The first gen languages were capable of describing robot functions and motions in a simple way. They got limited in terms of the sensor inputs and the communication they can do with the other robots. So like I already explained, these first gen languages work based on the programming by teaching. Like they will know, they will take into consideration like where they are in the time space, and then move according considering their current position to the next desired position. This is the mechanism behind the first gen languages. So the second gen languages, robot oriented programming. They are developed in the 1980s, and so what makes it different from the first and second gen is that unlike the first gen, these uses the features more advanced motion control, sensor interface capabilities, and inter-robot communication, and even some limited artificial intelligence. So this uses the inverse kinematics. I think you all know about kinematics, inverse kinematics. Vishwanath and Rahul explained the whole thing in day 8. Can any one of you tell me what it is? Inverse kinematics, kinematics. Yeah, like a small definition. Venkataraman, your mic is on. Yeah, thank you. Motion of robot using coordinate system. Yeah, correct. Determining position of rest using orientation of joints and forward kinematics. Yeah, very good.
Nivedita, continue. Okay. We don't have much time.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, I'll finish it. Okay, so yeah, this uses the inverse kinematics. I think you all know what inverse kinematics is. See here you can see that they works based on the coordinates, and there is this end effector, the arm of this robot, which will move accordingly to the coordinates, considering the coordinates with some kinematic equation. Okay, so VAL 2 was developed in the successor of VAL, but it had more advanced features with it. Okay, so other examples of the second gen would be AML, RAIL, HELP, and Carel, and others. So industrial robots are mostly comes under the second or first gen languages. Like I previously mentioned, the first gen robot does only the repeated task. So the second gen languages the second gen languages also uses the same way. They are also used much for repeatable tasks, but they did the work much better. So the third gen world modeling and task level programming. So the programs which came after the second gen, we call it third gen, which are mostly the modern languages which is existing, and the features they have are more advanced, like automatic 3D world models and task level programming and dynamic understanding of the environment. Okay, they also included machine learning, supervisory control, and teaching by demonstration. So the future self-learning robots and beyond. So what do you think will be the future of robotics? Like, what do you think will come into existence in the next part of the century? That can be like a self-learning robot, or verbal programming, or even robot pharmacist. So just type in the chat box what you think will be in the future of the robotics. Okay. Okay, let me continue with modern programming languages for robotics. This is the final part of the session. So let's take a look at some of the popular robot programming languages which is used most widely. So what do you think will be the first position? Okay, it is C and C++. So you can see that Python is more easy to use, but why C or C++ is considered as the #1 programming languages? So why exactly is that? Most these two languages are widely used in the hardware libraries in the robotics, and these libraries allow interaction with the low-level hardware. But nowadays, C++ is most widely used than C. It has better usability than C, and also but yet C remains one of the most efficient programming languages available compared to Python or Matlab. The C or C++ are not that simple. It may take even longer time or more number of lines to implement the same functionality in the C or C++. But still, C or C++ gives a better real-time performance compared to all other programming languages in the league. So these two are considered as one of the standard languages of robotics. So the next second popular language is gonna be many people's favorite, and Python. And the most important thing about Python is that the ease of use and the less time consuming. The part which we consider is more time consuming in a C or C++, which is completely eliminated in Python, like the variable, defining the variable or casting it. So the Python has rapidly grown and became one of the top languages. The prime focus of the language is use of use, like I already mentioned. There are also a huge number of free libraries for Python. Python available in robotics, and you can see Raspberry Pi uses Python and ROS uses Python. So in future, it can even defeat C or C++. So next is Java. Java is generally an interpretive language, which means that it is not compiled into machine code like C or C++. Even Python's interpreted language, and it is not compiled into machine code. Rather, the Java virtual machine interprets the instruction at runtime. Java is one of the core language in several modern AIs, including the IBM's Watson and AlphaGo. Next, the C hash or .NET. I saw someone mentioning C hash, just good. Okay, then C hash is a proprietary programming language provided by Microsoft. By proprietary programming language, I mean it is internally scripted language for a single product by a single company. Like Microsoft is using C hash, and it is a primary language for the Microsoft Robotics Developer Studio. If you want to work with the Developer Studio of Microsoft, you have to learn this .NET language, and it is also used in basis for some virtual reality engines like Unity. I think you have seen Unity somewhere. You can see Unity before, like games, because it is widely used in animation and gaming platforms. Okay, the next one is Matlab. So Matlab is very popular with some robot engineers for It is used to mostly analyze data and develop some control system, and it is also used in research and data processing. So there is a very popular robotics tool for Matlab. Next, HDL, hardware description languages. It is basically a programming way of describing electronics. It is familiar to electronic engineers who create the low-level electronics of robot, like the basic part of the robots. And HDLs are commonly used to program FPGAs. FPGAs are field programmable gate arrays. These devices allow you to develop electronic hardware without having to actually produce a silicon chip, which makes them a quicker and easier options for some development tasks. It is kind of time saving. So HDL is generally used to create a prototypes of robot electronics. Next, Lisp and Prolog. Both Lisp and Prolog is AI programming languages. Lisp is world's second oldest programming language. The first is Fortran, like I mentioned, and the part of ROS is written in LSP. And likewise, Prolog is also used in IBM's Watson AI, and so both Lisp and Prolog is still used in implementation of the AI at the basic. So they are considered one of the most important programming languages. Next, industrial robot languages. So every robot manufacturer has developed their own proprietary robot programming languages. Like if they are creating the robot, they will put some language that they use for the robot. So if you want to work with the robot, you have to learn that programming language. So like example, ABB has Rapid, and Yaskawa uses Inform, and Kawasaki uses AS, and Stably Robots uses Val3. So why I mention is that each of the manufacturer has their own robot programming language. So the final one is Pascal. Pascal is one of the what to say, famous or well-known among robotic engineers, but it is the basis for several of the industrial robot languages. If you want to work with to become familiar with other industrial robot languages without being tied to one particular robot brand, then you can learn Pascal. From that, you can know about other programming languages. And it is also, yeah, like I mentioned, but Pascal is too outdated to be good for everyday use nowadays. Okay. Thank you. That's all for the session. What can you repeat? Which part are you asking? I'm sorry, Shellan. Which part you are asking about? Oh, question like that. What you think is going to be the game changer for the next part of the century? Like which is going to be the revolutionary one that you think? Okay, then you can type it in the chat box. I'll be here. Manindra?
I'm here, and now we will go through Python. Okay, guys. So just refresh your mind from this theory part. Now we will see some programming thing. Like I'll teach you like how to do basic Python programming, and be ready for that. So first I will show you how to install Python actually. Let me share my screen and say me whether it is visible or not. So is my screen visible for everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. So first you have to go to some Google and you have to type Python download, or you can type anything related to Python. You will see this python.org website, which is official website. And there you can see a download button. And here you can see Python, download Python 3.10, which is the latest version. Yeah, you can, it is always preferred to go with the latest version. So you download that exe file, which will be like around 28 MB. And once you download it, like the Python installation is very simple actually. Once you download it, click on the button. And since currently I installed it 1 year back, so I can't reinstall again and again. And here, instead of showing the screen, it will show like two buttons will be there. One button will say add Python to path. You have to check that button and then you have to click install. Then it will automatically install the Python. Maybe tonight or tomorrow we will send you an email regarding how to install Python actually. So a guide to install Python. You can follow that email. And we will show you the procedure also like in that email. And why we are teaching you Python is we have 14 days of robotics, right? On day 12, we mentioned we will be having a hands-on project. So on that day of hands-on project, we will be teaching you some Opencv thing. Opencv means Open Computer Vision, which is like it uses the image. It will do some calculations on the image and it will detect or do some operations on image. So on day 12, what we have planned is we will do shape detection and color detection also. There we will give you some images, like we will teach you everything from scratch. There is no need to learn Python, everything and all, like no prerequisite for today. I will teach you the basics. So what we will be doing is, if I give you an image which has a triangle, square, pentagon, heptagon and all, with that code, you can detect that there is a heptagon in an image which has that color field in it, and you can detect the locations also. So we will be teaching you that on day 12. So this session, you can assume like this is a prerequisite for the session. That's why we have shared you a few resources actually. These are the resources where you can study these 11 PDFs and you can get basic idea of Python programming. Honestly speaking, 2 days is enough to learn Python in my view. Like nothing is complex in this Python. Why I am saying this is like you are you're in your first year, you will be learning C language or C++ basically. So in your mind, you will get some ideas like why we need to write a for loop for sorting. Why can't we create a function for that? So we will have some shortcut ideas in your mind. To if you want to reverse an array in C language or C++, and that too using pointers, still I can't code in that. So uh, that time what your mind thinks is, okay, what if we have a function which can do this task in single line? So all these functions of shortcuts are completely inbuilt in Python. That's why Python is very easy and you can learn it in a simple way. So for printing also in C language or C++ or Java, something what you have to do is you have to import some libraries. Like in C language, you will say include some library.h. In C++ also, you say include some libraries will be there, stdlib.h, and in Java also we have some libraries. But in Python, it is very simple actually. If you want to print hello world, you just type print and you will say hello world and it will print. And basically, I forgot one more thing. You can run Python, you can practice Python without installing it in your computer, but you can't access all the features. This is online interpreter. That means Python will be installed in someone's web server. You will access that company's web server and you will run your Python script there. So you can search it for Python online compiler and there will be a list of websites here and you can use anything. And this programmist.com, I am more familiar with it from the past 1 year. So I'm going with this. So here, if you want to print a statement, there is no need of writing everything. You can write print of hello world and string should be in double quotes. So it can print. So basically we started with the basic hello world program. And you can ask one more thing, like I have to mention it. In our normal, all the programming languages we know like Java, C or C++, we will end every line with semicolon, right? So this semicolon means, okay, this statement is ended. We are going to next statement. But in Python, there is no need of semicolon, which will make it easy. But there is another twist in this language. if you want to declare anything which is inside, like in functions and all, instead of writing semicolons and curly braces, you will use this indentation. Indentation means 4 spaces. Remember this word, indentation means 4 spaces. And we will go through like what this indentation and all is. Okay, I think we have, please let me know. Okay, sorry, just a second. Yeah, sorry for that. I didn't observe. So this is an online compiler. So if you didn't install Python yet, you can try in online compiler before we send you the installation instruction email. And okay, we will dive into the session now. So basically we have gone through the printf statement, like the printing a string actually. And the first one, we will go through the PDFs. Actually, we have sent you PDFs and I hope you have checked these in your email. So if non-programmer does a task in this much way, programmer and Python programmer will do it in more simple way. That's just a meme. Okay. Yeah, someone trying to enter again. Yeah. Okay. So this is printing a statement basically. You can see here. And if you have any doubts, open your mic and ask. We are ready to solve. And we have print statement like this. And okay, let us go through data types first. So can someone answer me like what are the data types you know? In C or C++ or something, any language, tell me the data types. Yeah, put it in chat box or you can speak. It's your wish, but please tell me the answers. Int, float, double, long. Yeah. Char, string. Okay. Double. Fine. Okay, we got some answers. Yeah, we're still getting some answers. String, bool. Exactly. How can we forget that bool? And okay, let us go through this one. So the benefit of Python is there are nothing like a lots of data types. There are very few data types. And we are saying like int, wait, is the text visible to you all or should I increase the font size? Okay, is this okay? Is that font size okay now for everyone? I hope it is okay. So we have int, the answers are int, float, double, long, and some other things are there. And also we have in another language, we have to declare the variable before we use the variable, right? So in Python, everything is automatic. Why I am saying it is, see, if I say a equal to 10, int of a and print of type of a. This type of operator, what it will do is it will say, it will tell us what is the data type of the operator. So I am declaring a as 10. See, I haven't declared it as int a equal to 10 or float a equal to 10. If I type a equal to 10, if I print a and its type, see, I have printed the statement a, which like printed this variable and also its data type. And since I am using a single 10, its data type is integer, int. Now, if I put dot 0, I mean 0.0, I mean 10.0. If I run the code again, now you can see it is 10.0 and its class is float. I didn't declare anything like integer or float or double something. What it will do is it will dynamically take this value we are assigning. It will assign it to the variable and then it will check whether we have given an integer or float. Let us make it as a string. So strings we declare it in double quotes as same as in other languages. So if you put it in single quotes and if you run it again, see again the 10.0, but it is showing as a string. So depending on the declaration, it will turn the data type. It will directly take the data type from the declaration part. So we have covered the data types like string is there. The number data type is covered. And yeah, code is not visible. That means you mean text size or can you see the text size?
Everything is okay.
Yeah, fine. Thank you. So if you have any doubts, you can directly open your mic and ask. So we have gone through the data types now, and also bool is also there, right? This one for bool we have true and false options only. In C language, I think we have zero and we have true and false, which is 0 and 1 basically. In Python also we have true and false. True means TRUE, which in which T is capital letter. Remember this, if you put it as a small letter, it will be invalid. It is capital T, and if you put A equal to true, then the class is Boolean. So I think you have observed like data type will be changing depending on the situation. There is no need to declare previously. And suppose I will show an error also. Imagine you didn't declare any data type, like you didn't declare it anywhere. A is not declared. Then it will throw you an error. That means A is not defined. So in Python, it is very important to debug errors by reading what the error is exactly. So if you are writing any lengthy programs that we do in day 12, if you find any error, don't leave that in middle. Read the error completely, you will definitely understand. So let us declare the word A equal to 10. Yeah, 10.0 as float. C. Okay, so these are the basic data types. And one more thing I want to say, we have print. If you type print and hello, print world. So this is hello world program, but I'm printing in two different functions. So this print will end this line actually. So if you write print once, it will end the line. So if you write it in two different functions, it will print in two different lines actually, line 1 and line 2. But if you want to print it in single line, you can write end equal to some empty string with a space. See, what it means is end print this hello and end the hello with this empty string. That means don't go to next line. Just give an empty space and then print this line. So you can assume like Python is similar to the way we speak actually. Even the declarations and everything will be the similar to the way we speak. So we have seen how to print a statement, how to print a statement in single line. And also the main thing, comments. If you want to comment in C language, we will use these double quotes or forward slash and star, right? So in Python, we have hashtag as a comment line. If you write hashtag, the line will be commented from that point. Hashtag Python from RCS. So this is a comment and it will not be evaluated by the compiler. So follow these PPTs correctly and you will understand. If you have any doubt at any time, you can ask us. We are ready to solve. And we have gone through this data types, right? See, in normal, we have these three differently declared. So we will declare int a equal to 10, int float equal, float to a equal to 10.0 like that. But here it is automatic. And yeah, you can go through flight and you can declare complex numbers also actually. I hope everyone know what a complex number is. So 3 plus 4j. This is a complex number declaration which is inbuilt. In C language or C++, we will be using structures or some, if it is C++, we will be using classes and objects to declare these types of variables, a complex number. But here in Python, complex number is a valid data type which is pre-built. So this is a data type and you can print that complex number also. And for the syntax, refer the PPTs we have sent you through the email. And Boolean also I have explained T. See, the T in true and F in false are capital letters. And one more thing, this is called not this is called not operator. This is like a opposite word. Simply speaking, it is an opposite word. See, if I say a equal to true, and if you want to print false, but here it is true, what you can do is you create another variable and you use this not operator, not of a. So if you write print of b, yeah, you can guess like b will print false. Why? Because we are storing true in a. This a is turned as opposite, which is false, and this will be printed. Okay. And so this is Boolean data type. So we have covered the data types also. Is this okay, or do you have any doubts up to this point? Guys, if you have any doubts up to this point, you can ask now. I will show you like the explanation in the compiler itself. Does anyone have any doubts? Okay, I think no. If you have any doubts, you can ask it any time. And yeah, thank you. So the third one is strings actually. So strings, we have inbuilt methods. So while learning in C language or some other language, you might have observed like you have to declare these functions and then you have to write code for these functions. But for Python, which is like inbuilt feature. So I will show you few functions of this and you can go through this PDF and you can learn them. So let us consider this string. OK, we will declare some other string. Yeah, this is the compiler. OK, so I have declared a string. Which the I have declared the string inside a variable and I mean assigned it to a variable. The variable name is name and the string is summer school by RCS 2K24. And if so, we will try doing some operations on this. Yeah, we will. I will explain you what this split is. Okay, so I will let you see here and then I will show. Dot index dot join. Okay, I will directly show you. We will. Okay. One more thing I forgot to explain you. There are few more data types which are list and dictionary. Dictionary data type I will explain it at the end of the session today. And list is like an array, not like an array. It is an array only. So, but for array we will have another additional features in lists. So list in Python, which is like a powerful tool. I use it everywhere and I will show you that one also. So list also, there is no need to declare like list A equal to 10, 20, 30 like that. It will automatically take it as a list. So we will declare a list. So names equal to, yeah. So I have declared an empty list now. Nothing, just an empty list. So if you want to add anything to this list means an array, right? So in our C or C++ language, what we have learned is if you are declaring an array, you have to give the size before you declare the array. So you will fix the array size basically. But in Python, there is no need to fix the size of a list. So you can add anything. So I didn't declare any size here. So if I want to add my name, I can write names dot append of my name, which is a string, which should be in double quotes. And yeah, let us print that list now. See, you can see a list, which means list is represented using these quotes, these symbols. We will say these brackets, square brackets actually. So list is represented using square brackets. And suppose let us add another element. It is assume it like I'm adding another element to an array, the second element. Okay, so now you can see this is a list. This is a single list which is printed in this line. So the list is opened with a square bracket, closed with this square bracket, and it has two elements. One name is my first name and another name is my second name. So this is a list, and also in list you can add multiple data types actually. This is also a feature of a Python. Okay, not like this. Wait, it should be like a list of list. Oh, sorry. I think it will work now. Yeah, you can see in normal arrays in C and C++, what we have learned is if you declare an array of integer data type, you will only store integers. If you declare an array of character data type, you will only store characters. But here in list in Python, you can store strings and you can store numbers also in the same list. So this is like more flexible to work. And this is basically about list, and there are we have a specific file for lists actually. See, This file is intended to teach you about list and its operations. See, all these operations you will understand in simple way. Why? Because all these operations are in our mind actually. We will think like this, if this is the solution, this might have been better in C or C++. So all those things are implemented for us by some scientist and they have given us this Python language. So, okay, from strings we have went up to list. So sorry for that. So, okay, we will go with strings. Why I taught you strings is, I will show you to show you a function actually. Names equal to rcs.summer school, right? So that is a string declared and I will declare another variable name list names dot split of empty string with a single with a sample empty space, and let us print this print name list. I think the session it was dominant with my voice. Okay, now someone try to give answer for this, like what it will print. I am saying split with an empty space. Basic English. Split this string. See, names is a string, and I want the string to split with an empty space. So, any guesses like what we will be doing based on the general English? Okay. So, any guesses? Anyone? A random try. No need of exact answer. Just try what we are expecting. We'll split a string with where. Okay. I will reveal that. So if I run this code, you can observe. See, I have written it as a string. What we are doing is we are removing these empty spaces and making these three words as three elements of a list. That's why I have taught you about the lists, which is like this is an array and these three words are used in this array, like in this string. So we can split the string into a list actually. And remember this line, this split function you will be using in competitive coding in every question if you are using Python for CP. Okay, so this is about lists and okay, we will move fast. I think it's 7:10. So this is about string. Yeah, you can see here they have declared something and here we are using split function with an empty space. And this empty space means like split the string wherever there exists an empty space. And you have a lot of functions in these strings. You can see those functions like concatenation operator, which is like plus, which is same in C and C++ also. And this is math module actually. Yeah, so we have some predefined functions in math module. You can find the square root, you can find the square, you can round off, you can use modulus function and all. So yeah, let us go through that. I will show you a demo also. So imagine a equal to -10, but you want to save it as +10. So what we will do in general mathematics is we will apply modulus function. So if you write mod a, that means it will convert negative to positive. So same like that here in. So POS a is a variable I declared now, which is absolute of a. Absolute means it will remove the negative like negative magnitude of a variable. So if you can't use directly like this, you can say import math. Wait, this is similar to what you have learned. Hash include stdio.h. Yeah. So this is what you use in other programming languages and in Python. I think we have math in C++ also. For that we will use like C language and all. We can say math.h, but here you just say import math. Same our normal English. So if I run this, it will convert a as +10. It will print +10 now. Okay. So this is like mathematical functions we have, and we have ceil function. And this ceil function and floor function are very important in academics point of view, projects point of view, and everywhere you will use it. So ceil function means if it is 2.33 and if you are using ceil, it will make it as 3. If you are going even not one decimal after a number, and if you are using a ceil function on that, it will make it as a value, integer value which is greater than that. So it will make it as 3. And floor function is exactly opposite for that. What floor function will do is it will convert this line into 2. And this is exponent which we study in physics and all. Pi is 22 by 7 3.14 thing which is mentioned here. So all these things which are in mathematics like logarithms, square roots, everything you can use, but you have to use this word import math. And I forgot to mention this one also. See, wait, I will show you. Here we are using this as m. That means like a shortcut name. So import math as, you can say m or math, that's your wish. And if you want to use this math, yeah, we will use the same line. Oh, okay. Sorry for this. Yeah, so here we have to write math. That means, okay, for math we can directly write as math, which is a short name. But sometimes you will have these names that much big that you will be frustrated to type that whole name. During that time, we will use these shortcuts, and you can write it as m also. And then if you say m.ceil, that means it will work. What it is doing is there is a ceil function which was declared by Python scientist and is stored in this math. So you are getting that permission from this math module by using this import math. But instead of calling math, you are just calling it as m.ceil as a shortcut name, as a nickname, you can assume. So this is importing, and we have math module in Python, which is very important for us. And this one is conditional statements, if else and nested if else, everything. Yeah, now the indentation, the main part comes into play. Indentation, why I am saying is, let us declare a variable a equal to 3. And now we have to check whether it is an even number or odd number. What we will do is we will divide it with 2. If there is any remainder, we will say it is odd. So for that, if you are writing code in C or C++, what we will do is if a percentage 2 equal to 0, of even. Right, so this is the syntax we will be following in C or C++ actually. Okay, let us go with C. So this is the basic syntax we follow. But in Python, we don't have this semicolon and we don't have this curly braces also. So what we will do is we will follow indentation. So if you want to say this line is ended here, you have to say a colon. Can you see this colon? The button which is next to L. And automatically it will give us a space of 4 empty spaces, which is a tab actually. You will have a tab button on the left side of Q on your keyboard. So you have to give one tab and then you can print even. And if you want to say else part, print odd. Observe the syntax I am speaking here. We have mentioned this colon in order to differentiate between the next line and this line. Why? Because we are not using the semicolon, and this space to show that this is a part of the above statement. Okay, we will run it. So it is an odd number. And yeah, I think I can show another example like how it will work. Print. Okay. Yeah, so if it is an even number, it should print even number. So this is an if condition actually. Once I come out of the indentation level, like if I am not using this simple tab and if I am directly going with this print statement without any gap between this 5 and print statement, that means it is out of that condition now. So it is like the curly brace starts here and the curly brace end here. So that print statement is independent of that if statement. So anyone guess what would be the output for this? Okay, I'm waiting for the answer. So this is the code. You can turn on your mic and you can say if you are not sleeping. So any answers? What are you expecting? Like what answer you are expecting from this code? I got an output. Odd. Okay, any answers? 3. 3. Yeah, the answer would be 3 actually. Why? Because I have removed print of odd, that's the else part actually. So if I click the run button, this 3 only will be printed. Why? Because see, A has a variable 3 in it now. Now, while compiling this, A will be replaced by 3 in the compiler, and 3% 2 will be 1, which is not equal to 0. So this statement is wrong. If the if condition is wrong, that means the code which is inside the condition don't execute. So all the codes which are having single indentation level before the indentation breaks will not be executed at all. So it will skip this part and then it will directly enter this part and it will print the value of A. So that's why it didn't work. Okay, so we have gone through the condition. Yeah, this is if else statement actually. This have special syntax as not in C and C++. Okay, fine. Okay, I'll let you see the syntax here. See, we are declaring 2 variables and we are dividing one variable with other. So 6 divides by 2 will leave the remainder as 0. So that means this is like checking the divisibility. And you can observe here, instead of writing else if, we are writing elif. So if you want to add another else if, you have to write elif instead of else if. Like this is the syntax you have to follow for using else if condition in Python, which is usually told as elif. And this is nested else if, nested if else. So this is the if condition of the code, and this should be the else condition. But inside the else condition, you can write another if else. This is like nested codes. And this is conditional statements. You can use these operators also, same as in other languages, greater than, less than, equal to, everything. And also here not operator, you can observe this is exclamation mark followed by an equal to. And loops also. Loops is very easy in Python actually. Why I'm saying is name. Wait, I will show you why. Okay, Karthik. Yeah, so I have written. Yeah, this array has 4 strings, right? So for writing in C and C++, like for printing the elements of string, we have to write a variable int I equal to 0, I less than string length and I plus plus, everything will be there. But in Python, it is very easy. See, for name is a variable like int I equal to 0, same like that we are declaring name. Or you can say print I. Okay, we will go with the standard one for I in names. Okay, so this is a for loop. So I started a for loop. I'm using this operator in, which is a keyword in Python. And name is the name of the array actually. This is the array and this is the name. Okay, I have put a colon. That means if you put a colon, that means in next line you are going to use an indentation level. See, now we have a tab. When I say the word indentation, indentation means a single tab, which is 4 spaces. So, okay, I started writing code for the for loop. So I can write for I in name, I can print I actually. That's all. I came out of loop and if I write print names printed. Okay, so I'll explain you the code and then I will show you the output. I have declared an array and that array name is name. So to go through each element of array, this is a simple syntax in Python for I in name. That means for each variable for each element inside that list. So for I in name, print of I. That means it will print all the names. So this is the for loop block. Actually, this line will okay. You will get another doubt like how Python will differentiate these 2 lines. Now we have 4 lines, right? So it should print Karthik names printed, Sainath names printed, Reddy names printed like that. But it won't. Why? Because this has indentation level, but this doesn't have an indentation level. So if you run the code, Yeah, see, Karthik, Sainath, D. So these 4 elements are printed here. Why? Because this line only has an indentation level. So this line will be executed for 4 times, and then this line will be executed after this for loop ends. So this is basic syntax for loop, and while loop also you have syntax which you have to maintain this indentation level, the 4 spaces. And once go through the syntax where we are going through the while loop and for loop in this file. And tuple is another data type which you can't make any changes. I think it's time is 7:20. We will finish it soon. Please pay attention. Why? Because this is very important. And okay, so if I say name equal, okay, we will go with numbers now. And if I want to add another number, I can say number dot append of 4, and I can print num. So basically, this is an array of 3 elements, and I can add another element to a num. So it is 4. But if it is a tuple, tuple will be declared in single in this parenthesis option. Like these brackets we will be using for tuples. Okay, I will run the code and then I will explain you. Tuple has no attribute append. That means tuples are immutable objects. Immutable objects means once you declare that, you can't make any changes. You can't add numbers, you can't remove, or you can't make any modifications in that. What is the function of append? Okay, append means it will add a new element to the list. So this is a list, right? 1 and 2. Now num dot append means append of 3. That means there is a list which has elements 1 and 2 in it previously, and we are adding this element 3 into this num. That's why we are writing num dot append. That means num is the variable and we are appending a value 3 to this num. So now up to this point, the length of this list is 2. That means there are only 2 values in that. Now the length will be 3 after adding this. So append value is used to add an element to a list. But in case of tuples, you can't change. If once you declare a tuple, you can't add or you can't do any modifications to that. And tuple is also one of the most useful things in Python. So this is a tuple and list we have seen. Dictionaries are like key value pairs. Exactly, it is same as our normal dictionaries. See, in our normal dictionaries, we will have letter A and all the words with meanings to letter A. Then followed by letter B, all the words and meanings of letter B. Same like that in dictionary also. You can see this is a dictionary declaration. And this is how we can declare the dictionary in another way. So this is a dictionary and we have 2 words named key and value. So this is key and this is the value. The one which is before the colon mark will be the key. Okay, I think it is visible now. Yeah, so this 1701 is a key and this complete value inside a list is a value. Why we use this? Like this is also one of the most useful data types. You can store objects like very unified way. So if you want to search for anything, you can use this key. You can use the key and instead of using indexes actually. So you can use this key and then you can retrieve the information. It can be used like, wait, let me say an example for this. We have our college registration email IDs and our details. So imagine like this, our college registration email ID is a key and your name, date of birth, year you are studying, branch, everything is its value. So it will be stored in a system. And if our college wants to retrieve your information, it will search for this key. So instead of searching for the whole file, what it will do is it will search for the key and it will match it with the value it is having and it will show. Like when it searches for my registration number, it will search for the registration number key and it will display my details. So this is the dictionary, and dictionary also we have a lot of inbuilt functions with dictionary and you can see that in PPT. And this is a basic syntax for declaring functions. I hope everyone know what a function is. So for declaring function also there is no need of curly braces to start and stop a function, like to show the initial and final stages. What we can do is we will just use this single indentation part, like 4 empty spaces or a single tab. This will create a function body. And you can call the function directly like this. No need of using this there is no need of using this single quote also. You can use, but there is no need. Wait, I will declare this thing in a function. Numbers. So this is a function declaration. All the codes which are next to each other, which have single indentation level, belong to the body of this function numbers. So if I want to call this function, I can write numbers. Yeah, so it is executing perfectly. This is a function now, and I'm calling the function. And one more magic thing in this Python is there is no need to. Yeah, so there is no need actually to declare a main function. In Python, Java, I mean in Java, C or C++, you will have a main function and you have to declare everything in main function. You have to call it from main function. But in Python, the benefit is you can declare a main function. There exists a main function, but even if you forgot to declare a main function, it will work. Everything which has 0 indentation level belongs to main function. And see here, this has indentation level 1, and this is the top line of these 3 lines which have indentation level 1. So these 3 are a function. All the remaining things which are having indentation level as 0 belong to the main function. So there is no need of writing an extra main function. Yeah, we can write a main function, but there is no specific need for that. And yeah, we will. I think we have shared these PPTs to you. If not, then okay, we will share you the PPTs. And also, so this is about functions, and you can create functions like this. You just go through the PPTs. We will share it. And this is modules, which is like packages. We will discuss it on day 12. These are also important for us. So this is like basic overview of Python. This is just an overview. There are a lot of things you have to explore. I have just given you a touch of Python, a small glimpse, and I prefer W3 schools and Java T-Point and all for learning Python. I will show you. Yeah, Python tutorial. You can go through this continuously, like for 2 or 3 days, and you will understand everything what I have told. And do you have any doubts up to this point? Guys, if you have any doubts up to this point, I can explain you on the compiler now. Installation of Python, we will send you an instruction email. And also these resources also we will share it to you. Guys, any doubts up to this point? Or clear?
Hello?
Yeah, you are audible, bro.
Sir, can you send this picture link?
No, your voice is not that much clear. Can you repeat it again, please?
Or you can even type it in the chat if you are not able to speak.
Yeah, you can type your doubt in chat if you. Okay.
Am I now audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
Sir, can you send the link of previous lectures?
YouTube link.
Yes, sir, yes, YouTube link.
Yeah, we will share. Actually, I'm planning to share it through email, like all the previous sessions and the PPTs. Yeah, we will share it.
Yes, sir, fine.
Yeah, keep checking the emails. Like we will send you through email, or else we will update it in the WhatsApp group also. Fine. So, okay, I think all are clear up to this point. I just have given a glimpse of Python, and there are a lot more things to